What's up, Starcraft fans? This time, Lucerna Sempiternus made an interesting request. He requested that I do Nexus Coop, but with a 5 or a Brutal+5 Mutator. Here's the specific request. So until they fix Tosh's Marine, I have to use Zero. So the guy is called Gestalt Zero. Solo clear Dead of Night. Probably the most painful part of this. With mutation rating of at least 15, Brutal+5. Basically, I have to do a Brutal+5, and the minimum point for that. How Brutal+ works is each mutator is assigned a difficulty point. So I have to solo a mission that has 15 cumulative points. I can only use Marines, Ravens, and Static Defense. I'm not allowed to use the laser and nuke top bars, but I can do the recon plane. You can make air platform and static defense, but I'm not allowed to use airstrike. You can use your starting ghost until the second day's over. I'm not allowed to use slim pickings. So he wants me to get the 3 outside stations and then come back and get the 3 inside ones later on. I should have 6 stations before the first night ends. Alright. Once I get 7, I can upgrade marine weapon to tier 3. Splash laser. The rest of the map should be easy. Okay. Air platform have 5 limit per tower. Okay, so I can only max out at 5 air platforms per tower. The rest should be the turrets. Alright. So that's, I hope the challenge is clear enough. So we will once again go to Nexus Coop here. Click this orange one. Enter the lobby and start the game. Pretend I'm reading this stuff. And enter the Nexus Coop lobby. First order of business is to select our mutation, our Brutal+5. What I've chosen to go for is this one, mutually assured destruction. All enemy units or enemy hybrids detonate a nuke upon death. So this is a 5-point mutator. I need to add up to 15 points. So this is 5. The next one is remove unseen. All enemy units are cloaked. So this is a 3-point mutator, so up to 8. And to get to 15, I need 7 points. So my 7-point mutator will be... Let me see if I can find it. Just die. So all enemy units revive upon death. So my mutators are mutual assured destruction 5, we move unseen 3, just die 7. Add that up, that's 15 difficulty points. That is a Brutal+5. My mastery setup as 0 will be base station activation time reduction. I'm guessing so I can activate the base stations faster. I'll use the time servos because I don't think I'll use airstrike anyway. And the damage reduction because I will not be going for a lot of mechanical units here. So let's start. We will be commentating from a replay because I'm terrible at Nexus Coop. So I have to kind of really focus on getting the job done. And then we'll worry about the commentary right now, actually, after the game has been done. So how this begins is you start out here. All your mineral patches are being automatically harvested. So this is why slim pickings is disallowed as a mutator. So I start with an infiltrator squad. This guy will go on the map. The first thing I have to do is capture these base stations. These base stations will give me this resource here, the toxic thing, the radioactive thing, that will allow me to get more upgrades and stuff and buy more of those mechanical units. So once I activate control, I have this base station and immediately I start the upgrade that will allow me to earn more income. So basically this is my expansion. So yeah, you can see it gives me 100 minerals every so often. And I'm upgrading the harvesting rate, so it'll give me 1,000 or so, or not really 1,000, but way more income. So again, I find a second station here, I take control of that, and I try to get my income up. So you can see the first upgrade has been done for the station, and then I'll get into the second upgrade. So you can see it now gives 150 resources every so often. I'm now building this barracks here. This barracks will allow me to get Marines because, as discussed earlier, I'm only allowed to use Marines and Ravens. So my primary unit will be the precursor squad, or what they call the Marines. Still getting the upgrade so I can harvest faster. I find the third base station here. So again, the earliest objective for Gestalt Zero in Nexus Coop is get a lot of base stations. The base station, again, increase your income so that you can buy more stuff. So I've called down this unit here. Once the barracks complete, I can set which unit drops out of the Stormfall thing, the first top bar. I set it to the Marine and drop it here. The way Gestalt Zero's units deploy is you assign where they deploy using these storm pods, and then they just come out of the storm pods. So you can see the Marine can also capture the base stations. This base station is now captured. It is now upgrading the harvesting rate. You can see this one has been fully upgraded. Now it gives me 200 resources per every so often. You can see I'm now choosing to capture these base stations last because they're in my base. So they're the least out there. I'm least exposed when I'm capturing these. Again, my mutators are we move unseen, so you can see this Zealot and everything else is cloaked. Mutually assured destruction. All enemy hybrids will explode in the nuke upon death, and just die. All enemies survive upon death. I've gotten myself this engineering bay, though this will allow me to get upgrades for my precursor squad or my marines. So how I get more units is, when I'm standing near the base station, it generates a field of energy, and the field of energy will allow me to buy more of these precursor squad, basically this bottom right option here. And this base station, of course, gives me detection. I finished the first upgrade, this bottom right one here, which will basically make my units invincible inside this active green zone of the base station. As long as the base station is not being hit, of course. Which means I need to protect this base station to prevent it from, or to keep my units basically invincible. You can see this also serves as a great tank. Of course, it will not get me income while it's down, but while it's active, it will get me income. So that's pretty nice. You can see I deployed another storm pod here. Now I have several, and each one of these precursor squads, you can see this guy has two on a 2 on this lower right icon. That will mean that he has 2 kind of disciples or escorts, I guess. But you can see I can kind of deploy the star pods on top of each other. This will save me space, so I can use that for other things later on. You can see now this earns me 200 minerals every so often, and that's really nice. As long as I stand inside this green border here, my units are invincible. And of course, as long as I protect the base station, the green zone will be up. So I kind of have to work on protecting that green zone over there. The green zone, yeah. So more about these precursor squads. They have an ability called Grenade. The grenade will slow down the enemy forces while they're afflicted. And of course, they can call down the reinforcements. And each one of those deals tremendous damage. You can see this guy's 35 kills now. Light, biological, heroic units. They shoot both ground and up, and most importantly, they have a feature, this B thing here. They can change their weapons, and their choice of weapons varies depending on how many of these, well, these toxic things you have. The more of them you have, the better options you will have, or rather, the more base stations you have, the more options you will get for weapons. So right now, I can see they're shooting really fast. They have kind of like Tychus miniguns. So imagine I have like something like 10 Tychuses or something. So you can see this infiltrator squad. Again, I'm only allowed to use this until the end of night 1, so I'll probably sacrifice him after that point. But that's fine. I'm now moving out, just clearing out with these guys, and you can see I've gotten a second upgrade, or actually, yeah, this first upgrade from the engineering bay will allow my precursor squad to have detection, which basically nullifies we move unseen. So that's really nice. You see that hybrid there exploiting the nuke. I'm just running this infiltrator squad up here, so I don't have to worry about him later on. And then once he goes down, it will free up some supply for me. You can see I max out as Gestalt Zero at 70 supply, and that's kind of onerous. 70 supply basically means 7 dudes, because each one of these precursor squads takes up 10 supply. And that is quite painful. It's quite heavy. But The nice thing here is that, oh, you can see a hybrid here. That will detonate a big nuke upon death. So I kind of need to make sure that I don't get all my guys splashed. I'll probably sacrifice one guy. Or better yet, bait him inside this green zone here. So that my guys will be invincible. Push up here. Just keep walking up. I probably should be using more of my grenades. But ultimately it doesn't matter. My guys deal tremendous damage. And they just walk through, destroying everything they see. The enemies have double life, yes, but I just double kill them. Or double unalive them. Apparently there's this thing on... I read this thing on Reddit. Apparently, the YouTubers, I didn't know this, they use other terms like unalive when they talk about deleting enemies. Because apparently, YouTube will demonetize your video if you use certain words, so I think it's a good idea. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but it's generally better to be safe than sorry. So I think I will use more of those special terms from now. I will use terms like deleting or unaliving units, just so I can keep my monetization status for YouTube. It's kind of the only thing that makes this financially worthwhile. Ooh, I lost one of my precursor squads there. Or precursor squads. Just gotta keep whacking these buildings. You can see I am down to 110. I basically eliminated 41 of them. And it's continuously going down. That's really good. And now for my plan. I've started constructing these warp Gestalt overwatchers. Basically turrets as the front line for my defense. You can see they kind of block the approach of these aberrations, but unfortunately I was not able to get them fast enough. So once, like I mentioned, these base stations will only activate the green zone when they're not getting hit. Now they're getting hit, they do not provide invincibility, which means I will actually have to come back and defend that. So now I'm basically on a timer. I have to get this Raven. The Raven will allow me to teleport my precursor squads back in the base and protect my, well, this base station. Now it's inactive. That's not good. I need a few more seconds. Now I have enough. We'll probably call on the Raven soon. Here it is, the Raven. And instantly recall back to base to protect the rest of it. To unalive, to delete, to make them not a thing. And then push the border out once again. Once this base station resumes its activity, I will rebuild this wall. You can see I have made a wall of turrets here. You can see the aberrations trying to come in, but as long as I have a wall of turrets, they will not be able to push inside. And point of fact, even these kaboomers deal damage all around them once they become not a thing. As long as the storm pod is unscathed, it will continue to provide invincibility for all these turrets, like so. Now you have my guys here just pushing in. These Ravens, by the way, these Gestalt overseers do not cost supply. The only thing they cost is this toxic resource here, this 13 thing I have here. I have 13 of something that I used to buy these Ravens. Just make these guys not a thing. Just whack them down. Delete them. I will take damage from these, but I can just... they're a lot easier to replenish than are these turrets and, of course, my base. You can see these two turrets are not quite in the green zone, so they will actually go down, unfortunately. I will just have to build a wall deeper in to protect these turrets and make them not take a lot of damage.
Let's get to work, commanders.
I resume pushing inside. We have 99 buildings remaining, so I have to keep moving, sweep in the singular direction. I'm actually pretty lucky that I rolled Protoss this game. Zerg, of course, you know, has Vipers, which have disabling cloud, will prevent my Marines from attacking. And Terran, of course, has nukes, which will force me to look back at my base. because they are very uncool. Ooh, this time I wasn't looking and I lost a whole bunch of precursor squads. I will have to replenish those. The good news is I will just call down another Raven here and capture this base station. They do have base stations inside for some reason. But I don't have to send all my guys there. I just need one guy. It's like a lock and load. I just need one guy standing there. And we'll capture that and provide energy. So I can once again resume buying things. I have made this armory here to allow me to buy more things for my Raven. It's now active, and once again I'm researching the more money upgrade from that base station and trying to bait this hybrid into my green zone so I can unalive that guy and not take so much damage. That's very nice. Upgrade is completed. Now you can see I'm floating 13,000 minerals, which is kind of dangerous if I don't really spend it a lot. No, not really dangerous. No, I don't know what I was talking about there. That's not dangerous, but it is a bit of a waste. You can see I've started extending my wall here. I just remembered to build those turrets in the green zone and make sure that it's a tight wall so that enemies cannot squeeze through and start whacking my base stations. Pretty important point. And all I have to do is watch out for hybrids, and I should be fine. Call down another Raven.
Get ready for nightfall.
I'm down to my last 8 of that resource. The 8 toxic resource. Keep going. Just whack these guys down. Delete this last building. And start marching to the other direction. I have 64 buildings remaining to delete. And that is absolutely a-okay. I push up here. I remember there's a hybrid up here. So I call down this Raven. And oh, there it is. You can see it. The nefarious hybrid. I gotta make that guy not a thing. I have 2 guys. Oof. Okay, that wasn't so bad. That was almost bearable. Barricade is going down. But the good news is, yeah, these turrets in front, they will take damage, but the ones behind, I'm absolutely a-okay. I call down a turret there, so I've switched up. I switched up my storm thing, my storm pods. I've switched to this turret here because I basically maxed out on all my possible Ravens. So I've switched to the turret, and that will be called basically for free. Well, not for free, but they cost minerals, but no supply and no toxic thing. So now all I have to do is keep marching forward, make those guys not a thing. Some overseers, these spooters, briefly made their way into my base. Also, one of them did hit this Gestalt base station, which is why I have to run back and protect these turrets so that they will not get destroyed. But once those are gone, I just recall them back into the front. And they are still powerful in their own right. Even though they do take a bit of damage, they still have 600 health. Got more. Oh, you can see that spooter just came in and deleted the invincibility of my units. That deals tremendous damage, but I can just remove that stank from the equation, and while I'm at it, eliminate that last building that I missed out. Attack wave, that is actually a fortunate spawn because my army is here. Well, fortunate for me, unfortunate for Amon. Be that as it may, I do fight them, and I do take tremendous damage. Actually, I actually lost one of my precursor squads, so all I do is switch back to my barracks, activate the precursor squad, and call down the next one. Wait for it to be called down. Actually, I don't even notice that I'm down one precursor yet. That's kind of funky. I called down another turret here, not realizing that I actually need another unit. And I'm short a unit. I don't know how long till I notice, to be honest. Ooh, I have a overseer there. I have a spooter there. You can see that kaboomer just exploded, but my turrets were invincible, so they just didn't take any damage, and that is the beauty of doing that strategy. You can see I've switched some of them to have a powerful laser. Some of them are shooting lasers now. I've switched off some of them to get that, well, that firepower thing, that laser thing, which is really cool. It deals a lot of damage. The only downside is it shoots slowly. But I figured if I have enough, if I have a critical mass of stuff, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I don't think. Okay, I have switched now to the... No, I still have not. I still have not switched to the guy, the precursor squad. The good news is I will be able to capture another base station. Almost all of the base stations have been captured at this point. Alright, now I've switched. You can see I'm back at 70 supply. And I'm just clean out these last buildings here. Capture this base station to resume control. Start pushing with 4 of these guys. Actually 5 of these guys, because, you know, it's kind of a waste sitting your entire army here. We can have some of them go on offense. You can see just casually waltzing into Amon's base. Making his buildings not a thing. There's a hybrid there. I have to watch out. What I notice is the mutually assured destruction mutator is mostly only really effective once, exactly once in the game. And that point is when you forget. You've been running casually for a while. You've been chilling out. You've been plowing through the enemy, not really taking damage, and you kind of forget that a certain mutator was on. That certain mutator was on. And then you waltz in a little too close to the hybrid, and then the hybrid becomes not a thing and takes some of your army with them. That's usually the only time when mutual assured destruction is a thing. But you can see there's basically one building left. I just wait to activate that building. And with that, the last building has been activated. All I have to do now is walk in, delete that last building, and that's all she wrote. Alright, so that was this challenge from Lucerna Sempiternus. That was pretty interesting. I had a few practice runs because I needed to relearn what Gestalt Zero does in Nexus Coop. It was pretty fun once I relearned it. But hope I enjoyed that, and thank you for watching. If you have an idea for what else you can do, please leave that in a comment. I'll see you guys next time.